What is going on, everyone? It is your shaman, your sister in spirit, and your friend Alicia Dunleavy here. And today I'm going to be talking about living in our most aligned timeline. So, what does that mean? What does that look like? How do we do it? And why is it one of my most favorite offerings that I offer? So, timeline alignment or time align is where we get this deep connection to a perspective that we are living in infinite possibility. In each and every moment, in each and every choice, in each and every breath that we take, we are giving ourselves an opportunity to hop on a different path, to move into a different dimension, to experience a whole other life. And for those of you that have seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that have not seen it, I will not give away spoilers, but this will help you understand how I do this and why I think that offering this as a service and also really encouraging people to figure out how to do this on their own is one of the most potent and most empowering things that we can offer for ourselves. So, as we begin meditating, as we begin getting deeper into connection to all that is infinity, right? We can really begin to see how these micro choices that we have made and major choices that we have made have really brought us to where we are, and how we can choose to make choices and to take actions and to think thoughts and to connect with certain people in order to gain a certain level of alignment with the goals that we want. Some coaches will just basically tell you, get clear on what you want and then take little actionable steps to get there. But what if there are parts of us that are unhealed or parts within us that are misaligned, which then sometimes can like self-sabotage us while we're in the moment, right? This is where hiring somebody or having somebody on your team, having a guide, having a support system, having me in your life can be so life-changing. um there are people in my life that absolutely take advantage of this. And how does it work? It's basically going through certain shamanic journeys to connect with your highest self. And your highest self knows everything. All of the answers that you seek are within you. And so how do we get to those answers? We connect more with ourselves. How do we connect more with ourselves? Well, that is a whole healing journey, right? In order to get more integrated with our higher selves, we have to be able to raise our frequency. And of course, how we raise our frequency is getting into love, bliss, joy, compassion, kindness, discipline, right? We peel back the layers of hurt. We peel back the layers of judgment. We peel back the layers of, some people would call it sin. We peel back the layers of low vibrations, of negative thinking, of negative actions, of identifying with certain emotions, right? Emotions are okay to experience. It's a part of the human experience to have emotions, but do we allow the emotions to determine the course of our life? That is a question that you can ask yourself, right? Learning how to maintain a certain level of mental discipline inside of the emotional waters or an emotional wave can be such a profound experience. Learning to realize that the thoughts that you are having, you don't have to identify with them, but you can just realize that they're happening. It's like, I hate this day. This is the worst day ever. Did you know that that's just a thought? That's just an idea that's coming into your mind that you can grab onto and be like, yeah, this is the worst day ever. Or it's something that you can look at and be like, I just heard my brain say it's the worst day ever. I wonder why. Yeah, I don't agree with it. I know that it doesn't have to be that way, but I wonder what kind of triggered that thought. And sometimes you don't even have to wonder about it or to ask why. Sometimes you can just be like, oh, look at that thought. Weird. Okay. And move on. Right. So that is how we then, it's thoughts like that. It's thoughts like, this is going to be the worst day ever. I'll never make it. I don't know how to do this. This is never going to work. It's these kind of thoughts that we can grasp onto that can take us away from our highest timeline, for our most aligned timeline, right? Because what does it mean to tap into the highest timeline? Well, that even within itself is a choice. Timeline alignment is the opportunity for you to decide what path you want to take and then figure out what is the highest, easiest, and most efficient way to get there. And we do this through thoughts, emotions, and even communication. How do we communicate with the world around us? What practices and disciplines do we implement around us? And for those of you that are like, this is such a wild concept, it's so much fun. It's so much fun for me to call upon the highest version of myself and to say, what are we doing today? What do I need to look out for? This is what I want out of my life. What do I need to do? Right? Which, if we also take it further, if I'm not talking about the highest self, if I'm talking about the God or the creative source or the universe that I'm connected with, then praying about this. Hi, asking you shall receive. Hello, God. I really want X. I really want X. Please show me the way. And sometimes we can get really caught in the not listening part. We're totally fine with asking, but we don't know how to listen for the answers. And so, why is this a service that I offer? Because I can listen to the answers. You don't have to go through all of these things, these processes of, waiting and trying to figure out what the answers are. When you work with somebody like an oracle or with me, you have this opportunity to get live answers. What's going on with this person? How do I handle this? This is the job that I want. This is the income that I'm trying to make. Who do I need to look out for? Okay, so they're telling me that you need to look out for X, Y, and Z. They're telling me that you need to look out for the woman with blonde hair, with with lowlights, with brown lowlights in her hair. She has something for you. She has some information for you about how to get to the next level of where you want to go. I really want to know what's going on with my husband. How can I align with this? Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to bring up this topic. He might say this or this. They're showing me two pathways that it might split into. If he goes this way, then how you're going to respond is this, 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 and this. And then you offer this. He'll respond this way. It's like with every single tiny thread of life, there are infinite amount of possibilities. But you also have the opportunity to stay ahead of it. Some people will use astrology for this. It's like, oh, this is moving into this house, which means that I'm going to start focusing on work, or this is moving into this house or this section, and I'm going to start working on my abundance. It's really, really cool to have this deep connection to spirit. Because then what you realize is that spirit is always rooting for you. It knows. God knows. Spirit knows. Universe knows what you want. And it wants you to have it. It wants you to have it. But are you willing to overcome your limiting thoughts, your self-sabotaging actions? Are you willing to be who you want to be before it gets there? And it's interesting because I have heard that so many times, right? It's the be, do, have model. You have to be it. So that way you'll do it and then you'll have it, rather than waiting for you to have it so that way you can just become it. And sometimes that's a really hard process. So for those of you that have heard this repeatedly, what I want you to understand is that whole fake it till you make it thing, that's another way to say it. You have to pretend that you're the character. And there's an integration period in between where your mind's like, but I'm not. But then you keep pretending like you're the character, like, no, I am this. It's like, but you're not. And it's like, no, I am this. So when your mind says, I am not, but then you step forward and say, I am. I am. Watch me. Watch me do this. That is neurolinguistic programming. That is reprogramming your brain, not just by saying I am, but by following through with that action as well. And nobody's saying that there isn't going to be this little fight or this little cognitive dissonance of like, well, what's happening? Am I not? Like, why am I acting like I am? What's going on here? And then all of a sudden, you wake up one day and you're like, oh no, I am this. And the I'm not fades into a whisper because you were able to adjust in that way, right? So that is stepping into your power of getting into your highest timeline, asking your highest self, asking your higher power, getting clear on it is that you want to be, who you want to be, how you want your life to be, asking your higher power, what are the steps? What's the path? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And then pretending that it's it. If you watch my other videos, we've talked about the difference between the beta and the alpha wavelength, right? What is alpha? Alpha is imagination, creativity. It's the space of intuitive nudges. It's a connection to your higher self. It's the place where your muses live, where creativity and projects that are hidden potential is. So if you are willing, and who stays in that many times? Kids. And what do kids do? They play pretend. And we lost some of that magic. And there's something inside of me, right? The cynic inside of me, or the paranoid human that says, did somebody do that on purpose? Is somebody keeping me from my power? And regardless of whether that's true or not, right? That's off the point. The point is you are here now being reinvited to this concept, being reinvited back to the possibility of you. When you step into imagination and creativity, you are in a space of deep connection and of infinite possibility. So by pretending, what you're actually doing is standing in your creative power and saying, I'm doing this because I know what can happen when I play pretend. And what can happen when I play pretend is that I actually believe it. And then I might actually become it. I might trick my brain into believing that it is possible for me to have everything that I want. And I love that for you. And I love that for me, because it is that beautiful reminder that we are loved, we are worthy. Everything that we want is ours. We're capable of having it, right? If we are able to get out of ego, and what does ego do? Ego is the protector. It's protecting us from getting hurt. It's protecting us from getting rejected. It's protecting us. So what state of mind do we have to be in for us to be in protective mode? We have to be in beta. We have to be in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, right? We have to be in stress mode, worry mode. I got to think about it. I got to figure it out mode. How many of you are trying to figure out how to solve your problems rather than pretending like all your problems are solved? Right? And it almost sounds so counterintuitive, but that's what thinking is. It's counterintuitive. And most of the people who are here watching my channel are here for what? For intuition development. Because we know, and we have heard, and we have studied, and we have seen that when we drop into the intuition, what we really can do is get in alignment with our deepest and truest desires. Now, for those of us that might be in spaces where it's like, okay, that level of discipline is interesting, and it might take me some time, and I want to develop that, but I also want support. This is where I come in. And I have seen such profound changes in my clients' lives doing timeline alignment. Getting a job that is in a career field that they are well versed in. They didn't have to switch career fields. They got a job that they're good at. They got a job making the money that they wanted and a little bit more in the location that they wanted. Working towards the love that they've always wanted. Understanding how to navigate love, right? Because we are human beings. We all have triggers. So what happens when we come into alignment with something, but like our shadows and our triggers and our anxieties start coming up? What happens? We just talked about it. It can force us into a beta and thus force us out of alignment. So how nice is it to have somebody on your team that can be in communication with your highest self? That has that ability. Yeah, I can communicate with your highest self and tell you what's going on, what's missing. I can communicate with your guides. They can tell you what's going on, what wants to be healed, and can support you on that healing journey as well, right? Not only give you the clear communication, the clear advice coming from you, the clear path that's coming from you, but also support you in transmuting some of these negative things so that way you can begin to embody that person that you are working towards being, working towards living out. It's a delicious opportunity that once people experience, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm hitting my goals with ease. This is nice. What has taken me 5 years to do, I'm doing it in a year, less than. I'm seeing things manifest and grow. It's like fertilizer. It's like the most beautiful opportunity. It's something that I love to do. To be able to witness people grow, you know? I wonder if that's how gardeners feel. Because like I'm not a gardener, you know? But they like give and they nurture and they support and they look at the plant and they see what the plant needs and then they provide what the plant needs in order for it to grow to its fullest potential. And there it is. It's like, oh my gosh, look at you blooming, look at you blossoming. Oh, and then get to witness that in people and then watching these people get uplifted and then allow that energy to ripple out into others, right? Because as you raise your frequency, you just can't help but affect those around you, especially when you're standing in your empowerment. Timeline alignment. Connecting with the highest version of yourself. So if we were to do a little thing, right, for you to connect to the highest version of yourself, what would it look like? It would look like you sitting down as yourself with all of your worries, with all of your fears, with all of your stresses, and then asking and calling upon the most kind, loving, compassionate voice within you to speak, even if it doesn't make sense. Say you're like poor and homeless and you just have nothing to do, nothing, and you have no hope, no direction. And then a voice comes within you and says, it's all going to be okay. That doesn't make sense. It's not okay, right? And your fight, that ego is protecting you. No, it's not okay. Is that line that's keeping you away from your alignment. You want to entertain that, right? Going back into play. Go back into play. Oh, everything's good. Everything's great. No, it's not. Yes, it is great. Everything is great. How can you pretend like everything's great? Because I don't want to pretend the other way. I'm tired of pretending the other way. That's why. because I believe that everything will be okay. Even though I don't. I'm just gonna pretend, just go with it. And some people are going to be completely confused by this. But why? Because their egos, their protectors, are at the forefront. They're thinking. They're going at it with thought. Timeline alignment is about going at it with heart. The balance of heart and mind. Of really accepting where you are, thinking about where you want to go, and trusting that you can get there. And transcending the laws of karma, transcending the laws of gravity. Gravity, it's so grave. Transcending that and going to something higher than that, something more spiritual, something more forgiving, something more loving. Transcendence of the 3D mind, of the reptilian brain, transcendence of the fear, transcendence of what is, being perceived and going above it to seeing something bigger and better. And so for those of you that where that feels complete, awesome. Awesome. For those of you that would like to hear more about the timeline alignment and how it works, head over to my website. Let's hop on a consultation call. They are free. Okay. Let's talk about timeline alignment. Let's talk about what kind of life that you are ready for, that you are calling into your life. Let's talk about the methods that I will use to help you get there. I cannot wait to help you and assist you, like master manifest your life, to expedite and expand your vision and your dream, and to just watch it grow in front of you, to support the times where it doesn't feel believable, and to give you the tools to help you get into a certain level of self-mastery. Delicious. So for those of you that don't know, my website is www.aliciadunleavy.com. Head over there. You can schedule your consultation directly at aliciadunleavy.as.me. Let's go, fam. Let's get you the dream that you've always wanted. You know, let's heal. Let's get it. So peace and love, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.